Well, most guys want better results with women. We all want better dates, more beautiful women, better connections, better outcomes in general. But here's the part that often gets overlooked or that doesn't get talked enough about. And that is, you can't build something solid on a cracked foundation. That cracked foundation is you. You don't attract better by just wishing for better. You don't attract better by hoping. You attract better by fixing the things that are broken first. If you do that, then better will eventually come. Women are not solutions to our problems. Women do amplify the man you already are. If you are unhealed, unfocused, unstable, insecure, the relationship or your dating experiences will reflect that back to you, and you won't get the outcomes that you want. Now, this episode is for the guy who keeps running into the same wall. She loses interest every time. You start off strong, but then your anxiety kicks in. You attract women, but you can't seem to keep them. You fall for girls who don't choose you back. I mean, it's not because you're unlucky, it's because something inside you keeps repeating the same mistake and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I believe that is the definition of insanity, and I hope you're not insane. And until you fix it, your story will not change. You have to change, you have to do something. Let's be real. I mean, I often think that in order to meet the right woman, you know, I thought it was about finding better. Sometimes I still do. When I have a date that doesn't go the way I want, I don't get the outcome that I think I deserve, and I'm thinking, I gotta find a better woman. Well, of course I do. But when I look inside myself, when I look in the mirror, I realize it's not necessarily the woman. It's me. I'm doing something wrong. Or, I haven't improved things that I probably should be improving to attract the woman that I want. You gotta be the guy that the woman you want is attracted to. You know, you gotta become better. I have to do better. But every time something starts to go well for me, often it falls apart in the same way. And why? Because I didn't fix a certain thing. Sometimes it still happens. I think I'm doing a good job, I'm having a couple of dates, it's going well, and then it all just falls apart. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, what did I do wrong? And then when I start to reflect on it, I get to the conclusion and I'm saying, yeah, I messed up here and here. I got to change that. I got to do that different the next time. It was me. I'm the problem. And of course, as long as don't fix it, I keep attracting the same women. I keep running into the same problems. And that often is a problem in terms of your emotional discipline. The way you react. Sometimes you react too fast to uncertainty, for instance. You know, for instance, a late reply could ruin my entire mood. I send a text and she doesn't reply back, or not fast enough, in my opinion. And that sometimes it can ruin your mood. But that's not her problem. That's you. That's me. You know, the hard truth is you can't fake who you are. You can't fake stability. You can't fake security. You know, you can't fake being, a strong man, a stable guy. You can't fake that stuff. Women feel that. A woman feels when a man is cracked beneath his confidence. Once you realize that, things can change. When I say fix what's broken, I don't mean become the perfect guy. I'm not saying become, the things that you hear online, become the chat and the Tyrone and become emotionless, None of that alpha stuff. It's nonsense. It really is. What I'm saying is, you got to become yourself. You got to become whole. I think there are three categories where men usually break down. There are more, but just for, argument's sake. The first one I think is confidence. When you believe in yourself, you know, if you can depend on yourself, then her reactions will reflect that. And of course, confidence is not something that you just can be or can do. It's not something that you can say, well, from now on, I'm going to be confident. That's not how it works. I think, confidence comes from competence. You have to know that you can do it. And you can only know that you can do it if you have proven to yourself that you can do something. And the only way you can do that is by doing, experiencing, changing, and fixing it. So, confidence is where often guys break down. Direction is a thing that, guys often break down as well. If if you don't know what you're building in this life, if you don't know where you're going, then it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you don't know where to go, it doesn't matter which route you're going to take. And the third one is emotional control, you know, and that means, do you crumble under pressure? Do you crumble under uncertainty? Do you crumble under rejection? Or can you just, maintain a frame? Can you remain calm? Can you, remain your cool? Can you keep cool and be calm? Women don't need perfection. Women need security, not financial, but emotional. They want a man who is grounded, who knows who he is, who can maintain frame, who can hold himself. They want a rock during the hard times. A man who doesn't panic when the wind shifts. A man who doesn't fall apart when someone pulls back. That kind of presence is rare and it is also very powerful. And how do you fix these things? Well, this is the part that a lot of men avoid because it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, you know. But the discomfort is, the gym of your mind. What you got to do is you got to identify your weak points. Ask yourself and be honest. Why do I keep messing up? What is going wrong? Do I chase too fast? Do I take things too personally? Am I lacking direction? You know, am I socially extremely awkward? Am I just not a very nice person? Do I not know how to hold a conversation? Do I not know how to ask questions? I don't have any interesting stories to tell. What is it? Be brutally honest with yourself. That builds character. That builds a strong guy. And choose the thing you want to repair first. Pick something that you think you can fix relatively easily. You gotta go in small steps. Don't try to rebuild your entire life at once. Just pick one. And remember, don't do it for the sake of dating. Do it to become a better, the classic one, become a better version of yourself. Confidence. Start keeping daily promises to yourself. Same goes for discipline. Create some structure. Try to reduce some chaos. Emotion. You know, Try to respond instead of reacting. Purpose. Build goals beyond dating. Have something to do that, extends beyond just dating, online dating and texting and whatever. If you make small repairs at the end of the year, you will have some major transformations. You know, get rid of all the distractions, all the social media, the mindless scrolling. These are just emotional bandages. They don't heal, they don't do anything, they delay your progress. Make sure you have some growth activities that replace coping. Go to the gym, read books, have some goals instead of just having a fantasy about doing and becoming. A woman isn't a painkiller. A woman is a partner you earn once you stand on your own feet. And from what I'm hearing from women, and I'm not saying women are perfect, far from it, but often I hear that men are, the classic ones. They are, insecure. They don't know how to lead. They don't know how to make plans. They are emotionally, what is it? What's the term I'm looking for? Well, emotionally distant, you know. These are things I hear often. So might as well change them. Now, if you keep attracting the same problems, that means life is telling you something. You don't need different women. You need a different version of you. You gotta fix your confidence. You gotta fix your habits. You gotta fix the foundation beneath your masculinity. And when you do that, you don't need to chase women. You'll attract them naturally, calmly, effortlessly. Because, healthy recognizes healthy. I mean, I do the same thing. I'm not special. I'm not a chat, but I work on myself. And I think I attract the women that match very well with me without doing anything in particular, without doing anything crazy. I'm just being me. And me is what the women that I like back. So if something in you is cracked, if something is broken, whatever it is, inside or outside, you have to fix it. But what I hear online is all this complaining about how it is, about how stuff isn't fair, the dating online, and women want this and that and such and such. Don't listen to that bullshit. You don't want those women anyway with all the lists of demands. It's nonsense. You gotta fix yourself. Be, the classic. Be a better version of yourself. Work on it. I promise you, better women will come. They recognize a good guy. Not tomorrow, not next year. Start with one thing today. So fix what is broken. I hope this was somewhat inspirational. I hope so. Hope this was useful. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.